What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Jar back with NPL. This is going to be NPL's week 6 and 7. Due to the move, I was not able to record week 6, so I just thought I'd get them both up week 7. So we are going up against Rob and versus Adam, TheBeesknees. I've already played both the games, so I just want to get into the team builder. So first we're going to go over the game with Rob. So I'll go down to the team I built for him. I believe it was, is it this one? No, this was Aster. That was Aster. So it's this one. Yep. Okay, so this is the team I'm bringing for Rob. I just want to make this quick because, like I said, we got 2 games to get through. So I'm bringing a Salicberry, Huge Power Substitute, Belly Drum, Aquajet knockoff, Azumarill. He has a Quillfish, basically, so it's a lure to beat that, and then I 6-0 the rest of his team. I have a Weavile with Toxic, Knockoff, Pursuit, Icicle Crash, Dread Plate, so he has a Mega Guard, so that is also an issue, and Pursuing getting it worn down is really good. And he has a Scizor, so once Scizor's gone, Weavile will do a lot of work. I bring in the Mega Latios, which is Psyshock, Deep Holes, Roost, and Defog. Max defense, a lot of speed, outspeed a potential Terrakion, and its defense to take the hits from it. Leftover Stealth Rock, Close Combat, Zen Headbutt, Volt Switch, Cobalion, basically max speed, max defense. Mixed Wall, Entei to take on Gardevoir, Rest, Toxic, Sacred Fire, and Sleep Talk, and a Choice Scarf, Magnet Pole, Magneton. So that's the set we're bringing for Rob. Let's get into the game. And we are here with Game 1. We're going up against Rob Jr. Now remember, boys, our NPL season, we are still in this, alright? So basically, if we win these last 2 games, we're in a very good position to make playoffs. If we win one of these last 2 games but get some differential back, we will be in a decent position to make playoffs as long as a few things go our way. But we want to focus on Rob here, so let me just switch over the sides real quick and then reset it. So he brought the Mega Gardevoir, which is a threat. He brought the Quillfish, which walls my Azu, unless I'm running the set I am. Terrakion, Scizor, Nidoqueen, and Swellow. I was a little scared of the Swellow because I didn't really bring a switch into it. If it was special, I could use my Entei, sort of, but it's not super bulky. I do have the Mag, though. The thing about it is, though, look at his team. Once that Quillfish is, if I get my Belly Drum up with my Azu, I kill everything, as long as he's not Quick Attack Swellow, or Quick Attack Terrakion, because I'll out-prioritize Scizor's Bullet Punch after the Salicberry. That was kind of the whole point of the set. So I decide overall to lead off my Azu. Maybe I can catch him leading with Quillfish, and I can sub up on him wanting to get Toxic Spikes up and just win the game right there. So I lead with my Quillfish, as he leads with his Swellow, unfortunately, so I am going to have to force it out, but he does not want to take any damage knowing he can't Oko and AV Azumarill potentially, so he switches out into his Quillfish, but that kind of gives me a little bit of a hint. Okay, so Rob is pretty confident that his Quillfish can wall my Azumarill, at least take care of me okay. So I'm going to take that and use it later in the game. But for now, I get in with my Magneton. I'm just going to click Volt Switch. I don't want Nidoqueen coming back in. So, I mean, I didn't expect Nidoqueen to come hard in. But I suppose looking at his team, he had no other electric resist. So, not a bad play on Rob's part. Here, I'm just going out into my Latios, predicting Stealth Rocks as they do get thrown up. So, I'm just going to Mega and Defog as the Gardevoir is going to come in. So, not really too bad there. This Gardevoir does wall my Latios set, but that's fine. I have my Entei, which can gain me some momentum. So, I'm going out into that. He's going to just Mega up and click Hyper Voice, and look at that damage. That is absolutely pitiful. 22%, and after left, oh shit. And after leftovers, basically, I'm back at 85%. So that is great for us. We are looking in a really, really good position. Because we can start firing off some Sacred Fires, maybe get some burns, and wear his team down. So I'm going to click Sacred Fire, the Quillfish comes in. It does look like a physically defensive vault. Unfortunately, I do miss, but it wouldn't have done that much. The burn would have been nice, but again, I can't kill Quillfish. It'd be bad for me. So he goes for a T-Spike. I'm going to make the hard double out into Lottie, predicting his Nidoqueen to come back in, as it does. And I'm just going to be able to click the Defog here because I do not want this T-Spike up. It will prevent my Azu from sweeping. Here, I'm out into Entei. It's my switch into Guard. He throws up a Wish, and now he's going to get a free hit off as he goes for a Psychic. But that doesn't do anything to my Entei. I can just fire off a Sacred Fire. Do 51. Unfortunately, I don't get a burn. But here, I can just go for another Sacred Fire and get a burn on something again, potentially, as the Quillfish is going to come out. Unfortunately, I don't believe we get a burn here either. So 0 for 2 on burns, 2 for 3 on hitting. So not great. Out into my Latios. It's my best play. Now here, I could predict him to stay in and Psyshock and kill him, but I don't want to do that because, like I said, I need this Quillfish alive. My Azu's how I win the game, and this Quillfish is my setup fodder. So if I take it out, I don't have anything to set up on with my Azu, really. Look at the rest of his team. It's really offensive and hits Azu really hard, and a lot of it outspeeds it still. So I'm just going to fire off a Defog because I don't want that T-Spike up, because he's going to throw off a Toxic. So that's not bad. Here I'm just going to make a double out into my Magneton because I can take a poison move, and if he goes out into the guard, I can catch him. Here I'm just clicking Flash Cannon. His Flash Cannon resists his Scizor, or it's the Nidoqueen. So he's going to go out into the Nidoqueen. I'm just going to click Flash Cannon, and that is a respectable amount. That was not analytic boosted, so that's very good. Here I go into Weavile predicting hard rocks, as the rocks are Rob's play of choice, so that's not too bad for us. I'm just going to click the ice. Maybe I clicked knockoff. I think I clicked knockoff here predicting the switch out. Yeah, I did. So he needed that thing for Magneton still was my thought process. But here I'm going out into my Cobalion. I can take any one hit because I'm a max defense Cobalion. He just fires off a U-turn, so not too big a deal. And I'm trying to get my rocks up here as the pectorals come back in. I can take a hit from this thing. Fuck me. Shit. Sorry, guys. I'm going to turn, what was it, 15? Alright, so I could take a hit from this Nidoqueen, so I'm going to get my rocks up as he fires off an Ice Beam. Not too big of a deal for us, so I can take that really well. Here I'm going to make the play out on Lottie, trying to play him a little bit, as he is just going to play good, because Rob is a great player. If you guys don't know, he's actually leading our division, our conference even, I think. So here, Lottie's going to die. That's just a fact. What I can do is I can fire off a Defog, and then if he goes out into something like Terrakion, I can scare that out. Gardevoir, I can scare that out. But I need rocks off the field if my Azu set's going to work, because I did not see Black Sludge on that Qwilfish, so I'm assuming it's Rocky Helmet. So I'm just going to fire off a Defog as Jillian is going to come out, and Latios goes down. And I'm thinking, alright, I don't think he's going to want to stay in on my Azu as long as he has that Qwilfish. He used it really aggressively last time. So I'm going to go out into my Azumarill, and I'm going to set up a substitute on his switch into Qwilfish, which is exactly what happens. So I'm going to set up my sub, and if I can get this Belly Drum off, I will outspeed this Qwilfish on the following turn, and I will knock it out with a knockoff. So I'm going to Belly Drum up, my attack will go max, but as you can see, I go to 26, and my Salic Berry does not pop. My HP was even. It has to be divisible by 4 though for sub Belly Drum to get the Salic boost. So that's really unfortunate. I talked to Rob after the game. He said that this Azu would have just straight swept him, and we would have been basically picking up a 5-0 win and put ourselves in a very good position for playoffs, and that would have been very nice. So very unfortunate that this set did not work. It really would have worked. By the way, shout out to Chris Togavor. He's the one who recommended this set to me, and once I built it, I was like, oh my god, if I put this much here, this legit 6-0's his team. And if Rob acknowledged, Rob acknowledged this basically would have swept his team, so very unfortunate. Here I just have to fire off an Aqua Jet as I do 43%, and as you'll see, my Salic will pop as I take the Rocky Helmet damage. So good thing I got rocks up off the field, because I could have swept even after taking that, as long as the rocks weren't up. So, but this game is not over, guys. His team is a little whittled down, and I still have the Magneton, which does a lot of work to his team, so I have to play for the Magneton sweep. So here, I'm going to fire off a knockoff, put this Scizor in range of another one, and he is forced to Bullet Punch here. He does not want to take another knockoff and lose this, so I make the play out in a Mag, easiest play. I'm just going to Volt Switch. My Mag's health is very important, but basically I just have to rely on outspeeding everything and killing everything, so that's my plan. Because I do a lot of damage to his team with Flash Cannon at this point if you look at the rest of his team. But I'm going to go out into Weavile trying to bait in the Gardevoir because I do still have my Entei around. But here, I decide, alright, I revealed the Entei as my switch-in. I could see him doubling out into the Qwilfish, which would give me another free switch into Magneton, or I could see him throwing up a Wish here as I can get some massive damage off, or even flinch him with the Icicle Crash. But Rob is better than that. He's just going to click Hyper Voice, and down goes my Weavile. So, not too big a deal still. We're still playing for this Magneton sweep. So I'm going out into that, and I'm just going to click Flash Cannon. He's just going to protect. No big deal. I can just click Flash Cannon and do a shit ton of damage to whatever wants to take this. And he actually lets the Gardevoir go down. So that's really good for us. I do have a problem with the Swellow now, but here I'm going to go out into my Entei. So I got into my Entei as he is going to just click HP Ground. So he has a super effective coverage move that hits everything on my team super effectively. So that's a problem. But my thought process is he won't stay in with Swellow. He can't let it take potentially E-Speed damage because it will be in Magneton Flash Cannon range. And if I could get everything to Magneton Flash Cannon range, which Rocks would do, I would be in a very, very good position. So, he's going to switch out here. I'm going to fire off, I believe, just a Sacred Fire, as I probably should have rested, but I really felt like I needed the damage on this Qwilfish, as this time I believe I do snag the burn on the Qwilfish. So, we do get the one that is helpful. Would have been a little helpful to get it earlier, where this thing a little farther down, but here, I could have rested maybe, but I'm just going to go out into my Magneton as he does fire off a Waterfall. Does nothing to me because I'm a Magneton. I have decent defenses, as I can just fire off a Flash flash cannon here. Everything is almost in flash cannon range. It just comes down to the Swellow and the Nidoqueen. The Nidoqueen might be a roll. I didn't actually ask him, but I'm just going to go out into my Entei here, sacking it. It loses to the rest of his team. So, no reason for me to keep it. If I had E-Speed, I would have clicked it right here and gotten the damage I needed off on this Swellow. But I don't, so he's going to take me out. As now, I have to go into my Cobalion. And basically, my play is to play off of his choke. Because Nidoqueen either is not in Flash Cannon range without the rocks up, or his Swellow isn't in Flash Cannon range if it stays in here. And does not take rocks as well. So I need rocks up. So my only play is to play off the miss, have him potentially fear like a rock polish Cobalion, because like a max attack rock polish Cobalion could have actually swept him at this point. Because of the fact that I have, I had Zen Headbutt for the Nidoqueen, so if I was like Rock Polish close combat, I believe I knock out Swellow from full, Zen Headbutt kills the Nidoqueen, and Terrakion dies to also a close combat. So I was hoping he'd fear something like that, maybe switch out, but he's just going to go for damage, as it does not quite take me out, because even without HP investment, as I go for the rocks, but at this point, the Swellow is just going to clean. As you guys will see, though, at the end of the game, my Magneton was Miss EV to outspeed Tornadus, not Swellow. I forgot about Swellow when I was prepping, and it's going to cost me a differential. Even 2, actually, if I would have crit, it could have cost me the game if I would have crit him on that play. But unfortunately, we do drop to Rob, who was leading the conference, but we could have picked up a 5-0 versus him if we just made one little change to our Magneton set. So unfortunate, we could not get that done. But we do have one more game to get to, and it is going to be against Adam, TheBeesknees. He took over for Parker this season, and now we're in a little bit of an interesting spot, because let me just go get the team I had for Adam. I have a lot of teams here, sorry. I believe it was this one. Yeah, so this is the team I had for Adam. And we're in an interesting spot because we still have the potential to make playoffs with this game at what would be a 3-4 record. If we were 3-3 at this point, we would be in a very good spot to make playoffs. We'd just be playing for differential against David. But we have to be in the position we're in. So the only way we make playoffs is if we beat Ace of Base loses, or I beat him by 2 differential on his win, and David, aka Magic, who beat us a while back with his Mega Kangaskhan, if he loses and I beat Ace by the 2 differential, we will go into playoffs over both of them. I'd have them beat on the differential by 1 each. So that's what we have to do. Well, I just have David beat because his differential isn't very good, even though his record is better than both of ours. So I have to beat Ace by 2 differential, and I have to beat David. I just have to win, and David has to lose, basically. So let's get into the team I'm bringing for my opponent this week, which was Adam, who is a very, very good player. So I bring in an Azumarill this week. This was just max attack, Adam and HP, just like, I think it was like 152, 100 is what I decided. I liked that split up of EVs, 152, 100, when I don't know what to do with them. So I think this was about the set I ran. My EVs got erased, I had to rebuild this team. But I also had an Entei this week. This set was really interesting because Tentacruel was kind of a bitch for my team. So what I decided was a weakness policy variant with Flame Charge, Sacred Fire, Stone Edge, Extreme Speed can run through his team because his team is entirely built around the core of Clef and Rachi. He did not draft this team, remember, so he was built around a Clef Rachi core, and so this weakness policy Entei, if it can take a super effective hit from something like the Tentacruel, get its weakness policy up, I can put in a lot of work versus his team. I'm outspeeding, I believe, what is a Nidoking, I think. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. Entei, very interesting. Hippo this week is here to be a mixed wall for his electric types. I believe he had a Raikou. I could be wrong on that, but he did have a few threats. The Hippowdon was just very nice to have. The Sandstream, Whirlwind, Slack Off, Earthquake set with my rocks this week. Very standard prep. I know this thing can't really break the Clefable, but I mean, I have things for Clefable, like the Entei and the Azu, and you'll see my Latios. So this set was interesting. Basically, I needed to switch into his Mega Absol. Mega Absol was a gigantic threat to my entire team. Golbat does not want to get its Eviolite knocked off. Umbreon does not want to take a player off. Uxie does not want to take a knockoff. Gourgeist does not want to take a knockoff. And this Hippowdon can actually live a few Ice Beams from the Mega Absol. That is max special attacks. So, the Hippowdon, relatively standard for a team with a Mega Absol, in my opinion. So, predictable, cool. Umbreon is coming this week with no attack, so it's got max HP, almost max FDF, a little bit of speed to taunt and prevent the Clef from wishing up, or at least healing up on me. I'm going to Wish Protect and Baton Pass all over my team. Uxie doesn't have recovery, so it'll be good. Latios appreciates it, Entei appreciates it, Azu appreciates it. Overall, just keeping my team healthy is this Umbreon job and keep his team low. Next up, I'm bringing a very cool Latios set. This is probably my favorite Latios set to run. It's just max special attack modest. I ran it against Aster, if you guys remember correctly. and it did so much work versus his team because it's so hard hitting when it's modest. It's got Dragon Pulse, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Psychic actually 2-hit KOs a more defensive Clefable, and even some Spadef Clefables after no damage. So I just need a little bit of damage, and I will 2-hit KO it every single time. It is a roll in the current situation, but he has a Dragonite as well, so D-Pulses for that. I don't want to Draco and drop my special attack, because Draco does not kill Dragonite through multiscale. It's very close, but it does not kill Dragonite through multiscale, and I didn't have room for Ice Beam this game. So that's the Latios, and last but not least is an Uxie with Shadow Ball, Psyshock, Substitute, and Calm Mind. Remember guys, I need to win differential this week, so my goal was just to break his team and sweep. Whether it was with the Uxie or the Entei, that was not up for question. I just needed to sweep at him and get as much differential as I could against him. So that was my plan. I was shooting for a 4-0 like I usually get. You guys know me in 4-0s. But let's get over to the game versus Adam. Here we are. Nice little click over. No transition this time. He has the Rachi, the Clefable, he has a Tentacruel, a Mamoswine, a Dragonite, and the Mega Absol. Those are the big things. Mostly what I was expecting. Azu puts in a lot of work if I can get rid of the Tentacruel. Entei destroys him if I can get my Flame Charge up. It absolutely can demolish his team if I have Rocks up. And I have my Flame Charge boost. Hippo, very, very nice for the Absol, like I said, and even for Dragonite if it's not Dragonium Z or Supersonic Sky Strike, but very much expecting it to be that. Umbreon is good for a specially attacking Tentacruel and Jirachi, and I can Wish Pass on the Tentacruel. Latios is very, very good this game. He has no switch-ins to this monster, and Uxie can actually sweep this team once the Absol is dead. So, that is the team we're bringing. I believe I wanted to lead with my Uxie. No, I think it was Azu again. Yeah, I think I led with Azu again. So, I led with the Azu as he led with the Absol, I believe. So, let's get into it. So, I lead with the Azumarill. He's going to lead with his Absol. Now, I figured this Absol would have a few special attacks. I figured it would have Ice Beam for my Hippo, and I figured it might have a Thunderbolt for my Azumarill. But he has his Tentacruel, so I'm going to click Knock turn 1, trying to catch the thing, but he's going to stay in and play me turn 1 and get a lot of damage off of my Azumarill as I click the Knock off, trying to catch the Tentacruel on the switch in, which does not work out for me. Here I'm going to switch out into my Hippowdon because I know I can take a Thunderbolt, and I'm just going to fire off an Earthquake because I do not want to get my rocks bounced back, especially when I brought no hazard removal, so that's not in my best interest. So he goes out into his Clefable. I'm just going to Earthquake. Now, in Adam, fuck me, I've done it 3 times this video, but in Adam's eyes, in my opinion, he has absolutely no reason to think I would click Earthquake again. He could think I want to get my rocks up because he has a Dragonite. So I'm going to predict him on this turn to go back out into his Absol on my Stealth Rocks, and I'm going to click Earthquake, and I'm going to get that momentum he gained right back as Mega Absol goes down turn 4. So that is great for us. Hippo did its job. Killed that thing. Mamoswine's going to come in. I have no switch-ins to this thing besides my Uxie, even though it could be a win con at this point. So I'm going to go out, let this take some damage. I can sweep his team with this Uxie, actually. It does have a very good chance if I can get some Calm Minds up. However, I just don't see what I can set up on, really. Maybe this Clefable, but I'm just going to make a double out into my Azumarill, trying to pressure his team a little bit more, and I believe I'm just going to click the Play Rough here, as the Tentacruel is going to come in, and this is a defensive-ass Tentacruel, guys. Look at this. That's a banded Play Rough that does only 30% from an Azumarill. That's crazy defensive. So, I'm just going to go hard out here into my Latios, expecting the T-Spike, because people like T-Spikes versus me. T-Spikes are good in general. Here, I'm going to click Shadow Ball. He needs this thing for my Azumarill, and I don't see the pivot into Clef coming on a powerful Psychic move. So, I'm going to click Shadow Ball. Rachi comes in. Beautiful play. We get that one right. So, our aggressive play is paying off. And if you looked at that damage, and you looked over here, that did 49.6. I run the calcs. This is actually a roll in my favor to kill, and he is not at 51. He is at 50.4. So I just need a 0.84 difference. There's very little the Jirachi can do to me. He'll probably just get his rocks up. But I decided this roll is worth it, and I kill the Jirachi as I get the 50.4 damage I need. So that is great for us. This thing's going to come in, and I'm just like, I can take any hit from you, Clefable. I'm clicking Psychic. I'm breaking your team. I do 50 freaking 2 to a Clefable. This thing is a monster Mega Latios. So he's going to Calm Mind, and I still take him out with the next Psychic. So this is going very, very well versus Adam. He's kind of having trouble playing around my Latios. But here, guys, remember, I need to preserve differential. That's one thing I have to do. So my best case scenario at this point is getting a 5-0, and if you look at this team, all I have to do to get that 5-0 is break this thing's multi-scale, deal with it if it's Dragon Dance, I can do that with my Azumarill or my Hippowdon, and I still have my Latios. So I'm going to make the play out into my Hippowdon, because I can Whirlwind him if he Dragon Dances, I can get my rocks up after that, And he's just going to go for a Supersonic Sky Strike, do a fuck ton. No, he goes for the Devastating Drake and does 62. So, since he wasn't +1, it's not going to take us out, and we're mostly physically defensive this week. So here, he's going to go for an Outrage, which means that this Dragonite is forced to stay in, and I can go out into my Mega Latios. I run the calc on that Mamoswine. It looks like a guaranteed kill to no HP Mamoswine with my Psychic from where I'm at. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, we're going to pick up a 5-0 win versus Adam. This is looking great. He goes out into the Mamoswine, and I'm just going to play safe because I need a little bit more damage. It wasn't a kill yet. I needed like 25% for this to be a kill, guaranteed. So I got into my Uxie, which can take any hit, and he can't switch his Tentacruelin on a Psyshock. That would not be smart. So I'm going to fire off his Psyshock with my Uxie to get the damage I need off, and that's 23. Alright, the calc I ran says 78 min if I'm modest and he's no HP. So I'm going to let my Uxie go down, and I win this game 4-0. If he's no HP, my Latios can take this thing out, and that'll put us in a decent position. I go for the Psychic, and he has some HP. And I actually got very low rolled on that Psychic. That was basically min. I think I put the calc on the right side of the screen. We'll see it in a bit, but we have to focus on the rest of the game. I'm just going to click E-Speed with my Entei. But if you look at my team, guys, actually right now, Tentacruel destroys the rest of my team. I have an Entei in front of it, which I can't really beat it, unless he goes for the Scald, and he might not. I have an Umbreon with no attacks that cannot touch this, and I have an Azu that is banded that cannot touch this. So, I have to go for Stunge with my Entei and pray for a crit. I go for the Stunge, it does 34, but Adam clicks Scald, and the weakness policy is going to activate, and we are going to be able to take him out with a Stunge if we can hit, and we do. So Entei saves my ass with the weakness policy set. Here's the calc, boys. You can see it on the right. 252, modest Mega Latios Psychic. Versus, he had 80 HP, 74.8 to 88.1. If you remember, he was at 77. So I got very low rolled. It was heavily in my favor to knock him out from there. But it doesn't matter because David did end up beating our good friend Aster this week. So he would have advanced over us anyway. But our NPL season started bleak. Started 1-3, and we did not play our first 4 weeks that great. However, we ended 2-1, and that's very good, considering we very easily could have ended 3-0 versus Aster, Adam, and Rob, who are all in playoffs. All three of them are in playoffs right now. And if we would have beat Rob, had the Azu worked, that means we would have probably made playoffs. That also means that we probably would have taken down 3 of the top teams in our conference right in a row. Aster, and then taking down Rob, who was the top of the conference, then taking down Adam. My god, if we could have done that. Guys, I'm pretty confident going into next season, because this is my second league. The GPC and this are my first leagues coming back to Draft League format. I took a hiatus for a long time from Pokemon, and I came back this year, and I think I finally have gotten into my style of play that I am very comfortable with. I've gotten my skills back as far as playing and prepping especially. I think I'm a better prepper now than I have ever been, and I'm getting my play back. My play is coming back in floods. I'm playing so well recently. If you look at the GPC, which there will be 2 battles going up for that as well later towards Saturday when they're supposed to go up, because again, moving, all that crap. But NPL, we are, like I said, our last 3 weeks, we could have beat the top 3 players in the conference at this time, and we would have just been on a tear going into playoffs. But because of the poor start, and because it took me a little bit to get used to the team, we're not in playoffs this season. But I am confident going into NPL Minors next season, we can be a very, very, very top team. So, thank you guys for being so patient with my uploads. Like I said, I should be able to roll out GPC, no problem. I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that because we're not in NPL Minors playoffs, and if we don't make GPC playoffs, I'm not sure what I want to do. GPC usually starts up pretty quickly, but I might have a few more projects planned. But for now, I'm going to sign off, and I will see you guys later.